If you've been wondering how to create custom GPTs that you can actually monetize, here's how you can do it inside of HeyLevi so that you can offer it to your sub accounts instead of your white label version of HeyLevi and actually monetize your custom GPTs. So, first thing to note is that custom GPTs built inside of ChatGPT cannot connect to your API. That's an OpenAI thing, so there's no way to pull it into HeyLevi automatically. You do need to recreate them in the format that we've provided instead of HeyLevi, and then it works very, very similarly. So, let me show you how that's going to look. But just right off the bat, to show you what it looks like once it's all built out into the UI, here's where you'll see it. So, a sub account that is assigned to a feature tier that has custom prompts that you have uploaded to it, this is where they'll find it under Home, Prompt Library, and then all of your custom GPTs or just custom prompts that are not GPTs that don't have a knowledge base or anything else, for example, they'll all show up here. And I'm going to show you how to create this exactly. So this is a really simple one. It has a few inputs. And what's different about these is it goes into a chat conversation after after the user has filled out the initial inputs. So a little bit different from how the rest of our modules work, but any custom prompts or GPTs that you create instead of heyLevi will actually go into a chat interface exactly like your custom GPTs do. So one thing to note here, and this is probably obvious just by what I'm showing you on the screen here, is that custom GPTs, you usually tell it what questions to ask your user so that you can get specific information from them. What is your brand name? What is your business name? Who is your target audience? I don't know, whatever the case may be, before it will launch into your prompts that you've baked into your custom GPT, your knowledge bases, all of that. So instead of asking them those questions, we've just compressed that part of the process and we turn it into a little bit of a UI here since that's what a lot of you requested, so that it's easier for the user to get started by just filling out this information here and then they can go into the chat and start to actually get some outputs that they're looking for. So how does this work? So in your settings, so this is in the agency version of your heyLevi. So this is your primary sub account, the one that you chose as your agency primary account when you were onboarding to heyLevi and where you have all of your agency settings. You'll want to go in there and go into agency settings and feature tiers. So in your feature tier, so this is on a feature tier level, right? So any custom prompts that you upload, you can decide if you want a specific set of custom GPTs or a specific GPT assigned to a specific set of customers, or if there's a set of GPTs that you want assigned to a set of customers, you do that through feature tiers instead of heyLevi. So I'm going to go to this one here. This is the unlimited feature tier in this account. And that's actually what my primary sub account is assigned to, is the unlimited feature tier. So where you upload your custom prompts is here. So if you scroll down from here, you'll see a section called custom prompts. So here, if you click on this, it's going to open up your template, which is simply a Google spreadsheet. So, and it comes with all of the instructions and everything that you need. So we're going to go over this in just a second, but just to go back here, you'll just to walk you through what the steps are first before we do each step together. You're going to access the template. You'll make a copy of it, and then you'll follow the instructions or just follow this video. I'm going to go over all the instructions anyway. Add in your prompts, call whatever custom variables that you want to call instead of heyLevi. Once you're done, you'll export it as a CSV file and then just upload it in here by using this button. Okay. Once you do that, you'll also want to do two more things that are super important. You want to make sure that your custom GPTs have access to the internet. So under the AI platform settings, which is just under the custom prompts, you'll want to come in here and make sure that your chat model specifically, not the other ones, are set to this GPT 4.0 search preview. You don't want this to be set to just GPT 4.0 because that means it's not connected to the internet. And then the last thing you'll want to do, and this is all in your spreadsheet, these are all the instructions in the template as well. So here under features, if you have toggle on, great. It's perfect. We just want to make sure that you are selecting and toggling on your prompt library or custom prompts. So if you don't have this, if you have selected features, you'll want to make sure to go to custom prompts or prompt library, I think. Give me a second here. Prompt library. So this one, you'll just want to make sure that this is toggled on. Okay. I'm just going to go back to toggle all. Once you enable the prompt library for that featured here, those subaccounts will see it appear here, and it will only appear here in your features list if you have an actual CSV that you've uploaded here. All right, so let's go ahead and create our custom prompts or custom GPTs. So here, this is the template file. So you'll want to go ahead and make a copy. So again, we're just following the instructions here. Make a copy of this Google Sheet. So I've already done that. So I'm just going to switch right into this. A copy of heyLevi custom prompts template. You can rename this, of course, if you'd like to. The idea is just should be something that you know where to find later. Now, this comes with, I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way here. This comes with 3 tabs in the spreadsheet. So you have your instructions tab, which is great to always refer to if you need any help. Playbook variable. So this is really neat. This is where you can pull in any information from your brand or product playbook. So this is where it gets really powerful when you want to monetize these custom GPTs and you want to give them to your sub accounts. You'll want them to make sure that they are creating their playbooks in their accounts. Once those are saved, you can dynamically pull any information about their customer avatars, about their offers, about their brand's unique value proposition, anything that you really want, you can pull it in through a custom variable into your custom GPTs. So what that means is, let's actually just dive in and look at the custom prompts tab. So it starts you off with an example. So that's already in here. I'm gonna move this. How do I make this smaller? Okay, that should be good enough. Okay, so hopefully you can see the fields here. So it starts you off with this example. So there's already, you want to put your prompt name. So I'm gonna switch back and forth actually to show you what this means. So let's go back into our prompt library. So you see that I have an invest GPT. So this is my first example that I've already put into my spreadsheet. Okay, so invest GPT, that's coming from here. Okay, prompt name, invest GPT. You're not seeing this prompt, by the way, because I just made this new copy and I put in the old custom prompt in here just to show you how they correlate before we create the new one. So this is just a custom prompt. You'll see that it has no knowledge base or anything here. So this is a super simple version. And it also doesn't use any actual variables from the playbooks. So very, very straightforward, just for example's sake. This is the name. So invest GPT, that's what shows up here. Right? I'm gonna keep clicking back and forth here. So this is the description of the prompt, which goes here. This gets fed in right underneath. Okay, so I think I've changed this. Yeah, I just changed this, which is why it's not the same, but that's where that will show. Okay, and then everything in here, your customers will never see your prompt. So a great way to save your prompts, so exactly like a custom GPT in that way, where you're not sharing your prompts with your customers or your audience and giving away your IP, right? So that gets saved here, and it's only accessible to you or any admins on your agency account. And then if I click in here, anything that I have in these single curly braces, how much money can you invest? This is what's going to turn into an input field on your form. So let me show you where that is. How much money can you invest? If I click on this again, how much money can you invest? Right? Let's look at one more. So number of days you need your money doubled in. You'll see that's the next input field. Okay, so very straightforward, but let's go ahead and create our custom GPT. So for this example, I'm going to use something that one of you guys sent me. Let's say I want to create a custom GPT that takes articles, peer-reviewed articles maybe on a certain subject matter and convert it into social media posts, but not just any social media posts. It needs to be something that's going to align with my brand, what I do for people, the kind of customers that I serve. It needs to actually be meaningful to them. And it needs to reflect my unique value propositions. It needs to help solve a pain point for my target audience, my customer avatar. And maybe I even want it to relate to one of my offers, right, that I have saved as a product playbook inside of heyLevi. So I'm going to show you how you can connect your knowledge base, your prompt for your custom GPT, and the variables from your playbooks all in one neat little place. And then we're going to export it as a CSV and upload it right in. So for this example, let's say this is our social media creator. All right, so repurpose our curated list of articles to create brand-specific social media posts. I think that's good. I'm going to make sure that the Data is wrapping here so we can see what we're doing as we go. There we go. A little bit cleaner. And then this is the fun part. This is where we're going to put our prompt in. I'm going to paste something that I kind of typed out right before this video so you didn't have to watch me typing. But what I've done here is you are a social media copywriter and are deeply trained in human sales psychology. You understand what makes people buy things. Given the following brand and product information, have a conversation with the user to format information from the knowledge base into content for multiple platforms, starting with LinkedIn and then moving on to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Okay, so we're doing this for 4 social media channels. Use the brand voice below to guide your writing style. So you're also pulling in your brand voice, your primary brand voice, or not just yours, but again, for your sub accounts, for your clients, they'll be able to pull in their custom brand voice into their outputs. And with a total of 12 pieces of content. Your main aim is to help come up with LinkedIn and other social media content that will position the brand as the authority in the AI for business space and attract attention and engagement from the customer avatar below. So again, this is just an example. Let's say all of my clients are people who are trying to establish themselves as experts in the AI field, which is actually kind of true. This is the kind of maybe knowledge base I would want to offer them and custom GPT that I would want to give them. So this part is very similar to what you type into your custom GPT on ChatGPT, right? Now we're going to pull in some of the variables from our products and brand playbooks. So I'm just going to go into the example here because it's already there. I'm going to say brand information and product information. And actually, let's keep this simple. Let's just say brand information for this, although you can see all the different variables that you can also pull in from the product. So I'm going to grab the brand information. Make sure you grab those little hashtags here. That's really important for the formatting. Okay, so I'm going to click back into this and I'm going to paste that in there. So it's got the brand information. I also want to grab the brand voice, which is down here. So here we go. I'm just going to grab that line there to make sure that my brand voice gets pulled in. Going to add that there. And then I'm good to go. So I can just see if I need, do I really need all of this? Maybe I don't need the call to action here. Let's say I don't really need the solution. Not really looking to promote anything in this, just want to provide value. I want the content to actually align with the sub account, whether that's mine or my sub accounts or my clients. I want it to align with the brand, the customer that they're targeting, the brand positioning that they have for their brand, and the risk of inaction that their customer or their audience faces in not working with them. Right. And maybe I also want to pull in the customer avatar's core pain point. Now, that's not in the example, but it is in my playbook variable. So you'll see that it says brand.painpoint. It needs to be exactly in that way. So we're going to do brand.painpoint. This is actually coming from a custom formula, so a little bit harder to copy and paste, but we do want to make sure that we are getting it exactly as is. So I put that in there in single braces. Again, it's brand.painpoint. Let me just double check that. Brand.painpoint. Great. Okay. And I've written that this is the ideal customer's pain point, right? So there we go. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that. Again, if you have more to add to your prompt, maybe you guys have larger prompts, that's totally fine. You'll just want to make sure to add that in here. Now, let's also ask them, and maybe what we could ask them just to show you how the inputs work here is maybe we don't want to bake in 12 pieces of content. Right? Let's say, how many pieces of content do you want for each of the 4 social media channels? So let's change that. So I'm going to do, remember that that needs to be in single curly braces. So I'm going to say, how many pieces of content do you want for each social media channel to start with? Pick up to 5. We don't want them to go too crazy. Otherwise, it's just going to take longer for them to get their first response. Pick up to 5. Okay. Now, the last thing we want to do, this is super important. If you have a knowledge base, you can add up to 3 links separated by a comma here. Okay. Now, in this case, we're just going to use one. And what I've done is I've actually got my Google Doc here ready to go. This requires a URL. So if you already have a URL, you already have a website where you have maybe blog posts where you want to feed that in, that's great. If you are working off of a Google Doc, I'm going to show you how to turn that into a link. Also, one super important thing to keep in mind here is that we are working on a research agent for this. So eventually, this is literally going to be set it and forget it, where you can set this up once and the agent is going to make sure that your content is current. But for now, you will need to make sure that whatever source you're feeding it, for the knowledge base, that knowledge base is current and up to date. This is a living, breathing document that you'll want to keep updated with your current knowledge base. We're going to go to share. Here it is, publish to web. Okay, now here, before you publish it, make sure you're on link, but before you publish it, you'll want to expand this and make sure that this is checked. This is how you can make sure that whenever you apply any updates or edits to this Google Doc, it's going to automatically pull it into your custom prompts, right? So automatically republish when changes are made. Great, let's publish this. I'm going to say okay. And it's given me a link, right? So I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to go back to my custom prompt here. Where is it? Here. And I'm just going to paste that in there. Again, if you have up to 3, you can separate them with commas. In this case, we're just going to use this one. Okay, once that's done, super important to remember this step, you will want to delete the first 2 tabs. You can always open up the template one more time and just refer to that for the instructions and the playbook variables. But for now, we are going to go ahead and delete these tabs. Yes. Let's go ahead and delete. Yes. Custom prompts. We don't want to delete this obviously, but what we do want to delete is this first row. Okay, so now we have, we have this new example one that we're going to keep in there just to see what it looks like. We have our old Invest GPT and we have our new social media creator. Or actually, let's make it a little bit fancier. Let's call it repurposer because that's what it's really doing, right? All right, so now that I'm done, let's ignore my storage issues here. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to download this as a CSV. There we go. So file, download, CSV is doing that for me right now. Again, I probably should have named this something a little bit more exciting. Copy of heyLevi custom prompts. It doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to replace the CSV that I currently have here. I don't know why my face is kind of jumping around all over the place. But where were we? Settings, feature tiers. I'm going to navigate to my unlimited feature tier. And I'm simply going to upload a new custom prompts file. So this is the one that I just downloaded, the copy. I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so there it is. Also, by the way, once you save this and you come back to this tab, this is going to look very different because our system automatically converts this CSV into a JSON file. So if you see JSON and not your CSV, don't be confused. Everything's still good. Okay, so I'm going to upload that there. I'm going to double check that I have GPT-4o search preview turned on for this feature tier and that I either have toggle on or my prompts library turned on under selected features, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and save. And now there's the special occasion offers that we just added, or that was the example that I just left it in there just to show you what it looks like. The Invest GPT, and here's our social media repurposer. I don't know if you can see it with the yellow. Of course, this is going to take on your brand colors, your agency colors, depending on what settings you have in your heyLevi agency settings. But social media repurposer, here it is. There's my prompt name. There's my description of the prompt. And I'm going to say 3, which is what we originally had. So I'm going to click on next. And now it's going to take me into my chat format. So let's give this a second here. And there it is. So it's given me the 3 posts for each of my 4 social media channels, right? So it's giving me these 3 now. I can say, maybe I want my LinkedIn post to be way longer than this. This looks really, really short. So I'm going to say, and you can add this into your prompt as well, which is what we do in all of our backend prompts in heyLevi. We specify how many words we want. But let's say we're leaving this to the user and I can, as the user say, let's see what that gives us. And we are introducing real time as well. So just like ChatGPT kind of shows you how it's creating the text as it's going, we're rolling that out next week as well. All right, so now it's tried to make it, this looks more like 2x versus 3x, but you get the idea. You can either build this into your prompt so the user gets a much longer prompt right to begin with. Again, our built-in prompts within heyLevi do everything from tell the AI what the platform-specific psychology will be, how people behave on LinkedIn versus Instagram versus Facebook, what kind of CTAs work better on LinkedIn versus on Facebook, and the other way around, and what works best on TikTok versus Instagram. So we have a lot of those things with examples. Examples are great. So if you do have any examples, you want to add them to your prompts. I'm not going to make this a prompt course here, but if you know best practices with prompts, you want to give it as much context and detail and specifics about what you're looking for in the output. Examples are always great, and then obviously anything that you know about, the output that you want in terms of the buyer psychology for that platform is also great to have. So when you're building your prompts out, you want to make sure to keep all of these things in mind. But yeah, that's the approach. That's how you build your custom GPTs into heyLevi. So enjoy. Go ahead and make some custom GPTs. The beauty of this, of building it inside of heyLevi, is obviously that you can offer it to specific sub accounts within your GHL agency and monetize it that way, which is huge. So happy building, and let me know if you have any questions at all.